What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Dark Outpost, and even when games journalists get it right, they can't help but manage to find some way to screw it up and get it wrong. We have some incredible news about Ghost of Tsushima today from Forbes, of all places, Paul Tassi. Now, we know how Ghost of Tsushima has been doing in sales. It's sold out so many places around the world. More than Sony expected. They have ran out of copies of Ghost of Tsushima, and we all know about the incredible Metacritic score that it received. The exact opposite of everything that happened to The Last of Us Part 2, a divisive game, whereas so many people are universally praising Ghost of Tsushima. Let's take a look at this article and what I'm talking about when I say even when they get it right, they can't help but get it wrong. PS4's Ghost of Tsushima is the highest rated game of the entire generation. Now, what he's saying, he's not just saying PlayStation 4, he's saying Xbox One and Nintendo Switch as well. The highest rated of the generation. Now, before we even hop into this, I have to go back because he said something similar to this a couple weeks ago. He had this article. Ghost of Tsushima has PS4's highest ever user score on Metacritic. Now, there's a couple things that Paul Tassi was wrong about, and I'll even show you where I called him out. Let's listen. This was July 25th. Crap. This one is an okay one, but we have to correct him on some things because he can't seem to use a website very well. Ghost of Tsushima. Right, so that's what I said at the beginning of my video several weeks ago when he made this claim, and we're gonna have to do that again, unfortunately, because even though I made a video outlining some of these things that could have taught Paul Tassi a lesson, that he even brings up some of them in his article, he must not have got the message all the way, so we are going to do it again. We are going to help you, Paul Tassi, help you get right. That's what we're going to do, and let's just real quick take a look at that glorious 9.3 score, over 15,000 ratings, user ratings, that is. Let's take a look at what Paul Tassi has to say. I have been tracking this for a while now, but I'm ready to make a declarative statement. According to The Maths, the recent release of Ghost of Tsushima is the most fan-beloved game of the entire generation. At least according to Metacritic's user scores, the best metric we have to track that sort of thing. To be clear, I do think that overall, that's probably a statement you can make when it comes to Metacritic, and we'll get into why I think that, even as we go over the things that he's wrong about. Weeks ago, I reported that Ghost of Tsushima's racking up thousands of reviews had an impressive 9.3, and that it's much higher than its critic rating. He said he expected the score to drop, but it hasn't. Do you know why it hasn't? Because all of this news, all of this stuff when people are like, oh, it's getting review boosted by The Last of Us haters. That was a very small percentage of people. In most of these review bombings, review boostings, it is a small percentage of people that are going out and actually doing that. And of course, all these people decided to ignore the people, The Last of Us 2 lovers, that came there just to give Ghost of Tsushima zeros. Didn't say anything about that, only talked about the review boosting. Very interesting, but it hasn't. It's maintained that 9.3 average. Looking at how it stacks up against other titles, I'm going to declare it the highest rated game of the generation with a few caveats. And he does clarify. First, it's the console generation, as in Xbox One and PS4 and Nintendo Switch, as The Witcher 3 does have a 9.4 on PC, though on PS4 it's only a 9.2. The Witcher also has a 9.2 on Xbox One. I brought up that Witcher 3 PC score in my video that I did a couple weeks ago. But like I said, he must not have got the entire message. Second, I suppose I need to give some credit to the Xbox One version of Subliminal, which has a 9.5, though with only 684 ratings, the PC version has a 6, and the Switch version has a 9.7. Right, so there are very different scores, a wide variety of scores when it comes to Superliminal. So something seems sort of weird here. So I think declaratively, the settled score of Ghost of Tsushima is more clear. Its 9.3 is deeply impressive with 15,000 reviews behind it. Again, incredible for Ghost of Tsushima. You guys have heard me talk about this before. You know what a big fan I am of this game and how happy I am for Sucker Punch that they did this, especially on the heels of a game that was so divisive and disenfranchising like The Last of Us Part 2. But we do have to correct a couple things. Now, let me show you, Paul Tassi. I will walk you through how you have to do this. So there's a bunch of things down here. You can see only 226 negative, 228 mixed. All the rest are positive. Holy shit, that's incredible. But anyway, let's go all-time high PS4 scores. Let's open that in a new tab here. Let's see what we can do. Now, they immediately sort it by Metascore. I don't give a shit what critics think. We all know that. No one gives a shit what these critics think. Let's filter it by user score. Now, this is likely what Paul Tassi did, if I had to guess. He did this and saw, wow, Superliminal right there. 9.7 on Switch, 9.4 on Xbox One. That's crazy, right? Those are the only ones that are higher. It's not exactly true because you're only filtering by the last 90 days. Let's go all time, baby. All time. And filter for a couple different things. Now, he mentioned PC. Let's try PC, see what we can get from PC. A couple things. Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor. No idea what that game is. But there is that Witcher Wild Hunt. Witcher Wild Hunt, which we talked about in my video where we did it the other day. But what do we really care about? PlayStation 4. And this is why Paul Tassi continues to forget. I don't know why he is forgetting this game. It is very easy to sort. Like you just saw how easy it is for me to sort by PlayStation 4 by user score. Crystar is number 1 above Ghost of Tsushima. Crystar has 1,200 reviews. Now, that's still, less than 10% of the amount of reviews that Ghost of Tsushima has, but I still think it's worth mentioning. Paul Tassi did not mention it. I don't know why. I don't know if he hasn't figured out how to use Metacritic. That doesn't really make much sense to me. But you do have to put this in your mentions as well. Now, this was released on PlayStation 4 and on PC. On PC, it got a much worse score. Only 11 ratings, though, so it's kind of tough to tell what any consensus would be for that game. But I'm sorry, Paul Tassi. Again, I agree. I think in the big perspective, you can say major, huge releases. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, the most fan-beloved game of the entire generation, which is absolutely incredible, especially when you consider some of the things that PlayStation 4 has given us. I think it's really amazing. And to be fair, Nintendo Switch as well. A lot of big hits from Nintendo Switch, even in a shorter amount of time, when it comes to how beloved it was by fans. But let's continue on with the article. We went to the top of this. I don't know why we're at the top of this thing. I'm still trying to figure out why the critics didn't connect with Tsushima as much as fans. At 83, made it only the 17th highest rated PS4 game of the generation. Say nothing of the other consoles. The common complaint I heard was too repetitive and its open world too shallow, yet that was just not my experience. And Paul Tassi, to his credit, did give this game a 9.5, the same score that he gave The Last of Us Part 2. But I think it's pretty obvious to see why critics gave this game the score that it did, right? We saw some of these people coming out, some of these journalists coming out and talking about how it appropriated Japanese culture, how they didn't do enough job talking about social issues or Japanese imperialism, right? Because critics aren't looking for the same things that consumers, that gamers are looking for. Critics are looking for other things. Critics are looking for messaging, things like that, things that so big a portion of the gaming community does not want in their games. That's why they gave rave reviews to The Last of Us Part 2 and very meh reviews to Ghost of Tsushima. But again, well, he does go to say, let's give Paul Tassi credit for this too. I could easily see how you could consider Tsushima one of the best games of the generation across all platforms. I can't say it's definitely number 1. I think God of War takes the spot, but yes, it's up there. And it is awesome for Sucker Punch. He talks a little bit about how he thinks it's a big deal for Sony to end on PlayStation 4 that way, and also a big deal for Sucker Punch, and this could likely lead to Ghost of Tsushima 2. And we'll see. I can tell you, I'd be all down for that. But had to correct Paul Tassi yet again, because even when games journalists are right, even when they're saying things that a lot of us like to hear, they somehow manage to screw it up. But overall, an incredible time, an incredible release for Ghost of Tsushima. I want to see these sales continue pushing the boundaries. I want to see them continue to impress. And as they actually manufacture the game to get it in people's hands, we'll see if the game can hold up in sales over time. Really looking forward to this. What do you guys think about all this? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.